You know, on the Baby Lock Altair, the IQ Designer is where you create designs, and in there, there's a place where you can create decorative fills, and they're pretty cool. If one's nice, two might be better. Let's explore layered fills. Hi, I'm Cathy, and this is Sewing Tech Talk. There's a giveaway for today's video. It's a great pack of embroidery thread. Every time you like, share, or comment, you're entered for a chance to win a pack of embroidery thread. So do all three and good luck. So now, in the Baby Lock Altair, there's something called IQ Designer. And in IQ Designer, that's where you can create your own embroidery design. So you can do all kinds of fun stuff with that. One of the parts of that is when you're filling up an area, you can fill it solid, you can put in a stipple, and there's something also called a decorative fill. And here's just a simple one. Here's the circles, and the circles are just sewn with a variegated thread. Very, very simple, very simple design. And you can use it for background. I've used just all the different fills. There's 15 different ones in the Altair. I've created like a book cover on some ultra suede, which is really nice. Sometimes I paint in the different areas of it, create notebook covers, all kinds of fun stuff. I've used them for background quilting. So now in this quilt, I used one of the fills. It's like a little crackle to do the background quilting in this little quilt. So you can just, for the basic fills, you can do all kinds of fun stuff. But if one is good, two could be better. So you can take those 15 fills and you can layer them on top of each other. The great thing with the decorative fills is they're always centered when they come into an area. So if you bring in one and lay one on top of the other, it creates these really great designs. So now let's create one. I've been playing with my Go Cube. I got a 6-inch block Go Cube, and I've been making all kinds of fun little blocks in these really bright colors, which I really like. But I wanted to create a block to go in between these, a 6-inch block to go in between that's embroidery that picks up all these fun colors on a dark color. I think that would be really fantastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these decorative fills to create a really fun area that I can cut and sew into my quilt. So now, enough talking. Let's go into IQ Designer and let's create a layered fill. So I'm going to go into IQ Designer on the machine. This brings up the IQ Designer workspace. Now, in the handout area for my videos, there is a quick reference guide to IQ Designer, which is great because it tells you what all these little buttons are for. But I also have for you, I have a step-by-step guide to create layered fills. So it takes you through step by step. If I go quick, if you're new to your machine, then don't worry, because there's a step-by-step guide with pictures that takes you through the whole process. So now, the first thing I need is I need my 6-inch square. I think I might make it a little tiny bit bigger, so I'm going to come into the shapes key. A lot of shapes live in here, and you can fill any one of these with a layered fill or use them to create your design. So I'm just going to touch the basic square. Okay, now let's change the size of that to the size that I want. I think a little bit bigger than 6 inches. So when I come into size, it shows me that, well, it already is 6.19 by 6.19. That's going to work for me. So I'm going to say okay. Now when you bring in a shape, I want to make sure that that outside edge has not sewn with the stitching. So I'm going to go into the Line Properties menu, and I'm going to tell the machine I don't want any stitching around that outside edge because it's going to be in my seam and no one's going to see it anyway. So I'm going to say okay. I'm going to touch the bucket and touch that outside edge to tell the machine that I don't want any stitching there. Now let's fill this square with one of those really cool decorative fills. I'm going to go down here to the Region Property menu, and they kind of hide them. They're under these circles, and you go select, and there's the first 12, and then if I go down, there's the last 3 for a total of 15. So let's see. Let's pull up let's just do something simple. We're going to pull up the circles like I showed you at the very beginning, and I'm going to say okay. Now, I'm going to leave it in red. Doesn't matter. I'm going to stitch it in whatever color I like anyway. I'm going to say okay. Now I want to put that decorative fill in that circle. that square. So I'm going to put the circles in the square. It sounds like Hollywood squares. So I'm going to hit bucket, and I'm going to put the circles in there. Now that's not what they're going to look like. That just shows me that I've chosen that type of fill to go in that area. Now let's tell the machine how we want these to stitch. We're going to hit next. And you can choose the size that you want these to stitch in, from 50% all the way up to 200%, the direction you want the fill to go, and whether you want an outline around the outside edge. I just really want to take off that outline. So I'm going to go off, set, and I want to now see what this looks like. So I'm going to hit preview, and I'm going to say OK. Well, that's what it's going to look like. Now, if I hit memory now, I'm going to remember the embroidery part. But you know what? I'm going to put another fill on top of this. So I need to remember this exact square so that when it comes to my embroidery bits, then it remembers. So let's go back one. And then let's put this square into the memory of the machine so I can bring it up later and put in a different fill into something that's the exact size. So I'm going to put it in the memory of the machine. Now I'm going to go to preview. It's going to look the same as it did before. Now let's send it off to the land of embroidery. Set. And it reminded me if I needed to remember it. So it's a good thing that I did. So now, there it is. Now I want to add another fill on the top of it. Let's put the diamonds on it this time and see what that looks like. So I'm going to hit Add, IQ Designer. Let's pull that square out of the memory. There it is right there. Set. Now all I have to do is put a different fill inside of it. Let's put the diamonds in this time. Here. The circles, select. Now let's choose the diamonds. There we go. OK. I'll pick a different color so you can see. There's black. OK. Now I have to hit the bucket, pour that design into there, and we go next. Now I'm not going to change the direction. I'm just going to take that outline off. And let's hit preview and see what we got. Remember, we don't have to remember the square this time because we're going to use that same one if we ever do anything else. Okay. There's the diamonds. Let's send them off to join the circles. Isn't that cool? So you can take those 15 different fills and the way you layer them, oh my gosh, you math wizards out there could probably tell me how many different variations that there are. It's probably hundreds. So I'm okay with that, and I think I'm going to embroider it out. But I think I'm going to fill and put another embroidery in the bottom of this big hoop that I hooped up. So let's put these two together. Now remember, they're two separate things. What I can do is I can touch group, and I can group both these together by hitting this key, and now they're both together. And I can move those up to the very top of my hoop. So now after I stitch those out, I have room to stitch another one at the very bottom. So okay. So now I'm going to pick the colors that I need to match my little squares here. Go to embroidery. It says I'm going to stitch it in red and black, but we know I'm going to do something different. So let's see. I have yellow and orange, and oh my gosh, this would be kind of pretty. Do you think that would be pretty on the black? Let's try these two. Let's clear everything out and let's embroider this cool layered fill. What should I start with? Now I have to decide. My circles are going to stitch first. I think I'll stitch the circles in pink and I'll stitch the diamonds in yellow. The Altair really threads simple. You take your thread, you put it here, and it's going to thread itself basically. I'm here, 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 and here. I lay it in the slot, cut the thread, push the button, and I'm ready to embroider. So I'm going to lower the presser foot. Green means go. I'm going to hit that. We're going to do the pink, and then we're going to do the yellow, and then we'll be right back, and I'm going to show you how cool a layered fill looks. So we're just finishing up. It looks a heck of a lot different in yellow and pink on the black as it does on the screen. And I think it's going to look really cool inside my quilt. Let's take a look. Ta-da! So I take off my hoop. And there it is. How fun. And then here's what some of my box look like. Look at how fun that is. Oh my goodness. I think I'm going to have as much fun making these filled stitches as I am sewing together the little blocks. So I have a lot of fun stitching to do. Now the other thing that I wanted to make sure that you knew is that you're not limited to just two. You can bring in multiple fills. This one's fun. Now in your handout I have a whole bunch of fun like little recipes of just to get you started, just to kick you off. But this one I think is kind of fun. It's there's a fill in there that to me looks kind of like fish. So I stitched that out. I kind of colored in some of the fish, and then I did a couple different diamonds on top of it, and it kind of looks like fish caught in a net, and I think that was kind of fun. This is a book I have, another one that I've covered, and I've taken two. These are a little bit more elaborate, like a filigree type of fill. Notice it fits it into the middle like that, and it gives it more of a kaleidoscope effect. And this one is the very same. It kind of fills it up in the center. Everything sort of matches. These are only 10% difference. This is one at 100% and one at 90%. Recipes are in your handout, but look how it kind of gives it that fun kind of kaleidoscope effect. So that's kind of neat. You can do all kinds of fun stuff with that. But you can also go around and embroidery. So you're not limited to just creating a big fill pattern in one big area like I've been doing. Here's a fish that I did, another fish, and I wanted to make it look like a net is behind. So here's the fish. It's a built-in design into the machine. And in the background is the diamond pattern at 100% and the diamond pattern at 50%. So let me show you how I did this. So what we're here is we're going to come on back and we're going to go find that fish. I think it's under, well, let's find it. We're going to go back and it's in the home screen and in embroidery. And I have a feeling that it is under fishing. What do you think? So under fishing, there's that fish. There we go. I'm going to hit set. Now he's kind of itty bitty, so I made him kind of a little bit bigger. So I went into size, and of course I can blow a design up in the Altair about 200%. So I go here to recalculate my stitches, and then I just made him pretty big. That's a pretty big fish. He's a lot bigger than he was before. This is the one that got away. So I'm going to say okay. Now I want to have this fish, I'm going to stitch him out, but I want to take the outline of this fish and send it into IQ Designer. So I touch this little flower here, and that draws a line around the outside edge of the fish. I can make the outline farther away or closer into the fish. That's fine. So when I touch memory, what that does is that sends that outline to IQ Designer. Okay. Now, I'm going to leave him there, and I'm going to add that background netting, as it were. So I'm going to go Add, IQ Designer, and under the Shapes tab, there's that little flower that I had before, and there's my fish. You can see where I did him before. Okay. Now he comes in as just an outline, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell the machine that I'm going to stitch this in a 9.5 by 9.5 hoop. I go back to that same Shapes tab, I go up to my hoops, and I choose 9.5 by 9.5. Don't worry, this is all in your handout. I'm going to say okay. Now I'm going to fill it with that first diamond design. Select diamond. Okay, we can leave it at red. Okay, now when I touch that bucket and touch outside, it's going to fill everywhere but the fish, and it's going to center it just like it did before. So I'm going to touch next, and I'm going to leave it at 100%. I'm going to turn that outline off, set. Let's hit preview. Okay. Now, I have that fish outline in the memory of the machine, and it's exactly where that fish was placed. So I don't necessarily have to put it in the memory of IQ Designer. I can, but I don't really have to because I'm just going to pick up that shape. So when I hit set, it's going to send it off to the land of embroidery, and it's going to lay it perfectly outside my fish. Let's add a second fill. Add IQ Designer. I want my fish. My fish is under the shapes. I forgot. There's my fish. There he is. Okay. Now I want to tell it a 9.5 by 9.5 hoop again. Now let's fill it with that same diamond pattern, but let's change it to 50% this time. I'll make it black so that you can see. Okay. Fill around the fish. Let's make it 50% this time. We'll turn that outline off. Let's go all the way down to 50%. It's going to make it a lot more dense. Set. Preview. Okay. There it is. Let's send it off to the land of embroidery. Oh my goodness, isn't that cool? It's like a fish with an argyle sock behind him. So I think he turned out pretty good. I stitched him in 2 light colors of thread. It looks like a net behind him to me. So I think you agree. You can have all kinds of fun layering fills. Between 15 fills on this, the different direction, the different size. You know, this machine has a cousin, the Solaris 2, 42 fills. And you have more controls. You can scoot them. Oh my gosh, there's even more ways to manipulate the fills in that machine. Altair's pretty sexy. That one's really, really off the hook. Off the hook. Get it? I'm going to send it off to George. I think you might enjoy playing with layered fills. The creativity, it's unlimited. I'm going to send it off to George. He's going to tell you a little bit more about the Altair. I have to get busy making more layered fills so I can finish my quilt. See you soon.
Thanks, Cathy. That was an incredible presentation. Don't forget, you can click on the link and download Cathy's lesson guide on today's presentation. But I want to take a couple moments to share with you my favorite features on the Baby Lock Altair. I believe the Altair is dollar for dollar the most advanced machine on the market. There are machines that sell for thousands of dollars more that do not offer the same features. You know, the embroidery features are incredible. The 9.5 inch by 14 inch embroidery area, you can really expand your horizon with embroidery, and there's 494 built-in designs. You also have that 10.1 inch color screen that gives you all kinds of editing capability, from color to sizing to also you can actually take designs and do automatic stippling around it. It has 30 built-in fonts and 5 jumbo monograms. Now with the fonts, you have all kinds of editing capability. You can even take and put in a name or a saying and then do an applique border and turn it into applique automatically. It also has the IQ Designer. Now this is an app that you use your smart device like a phone or an iPad, and you can send an image, a graphic image, to the machine, and it will turn it into embroidery instantly. The embroidery is amazing, but what about the sewing and quilting? This machine has 11.25 inches of space and 5 inches of height, so you can fit even the largest quilts into this machine. It also has automatic fabric sensors that will sense the thickness of the fabric, so it will set the right pressure, and with the automatic tension it gives you perfect fabric control, from heavy denim to very sheer fabric to working with elastic or even a t-shirt collar. This machine truly controls the fabric with perfection. but also it has the digital dual feed, and what that does is that is a belt-driven walking foot system that's controlled by the motor of the machine, and you can control even like here with this Minky perfectly. So you have so many amazing features with this machine. But wait, that's not all. For a limited time, and while we have it in stock, we are offering a special bonus with your Altair purchase. So first, we're going to give this beautiful set of 63 spools of polyester embroidery thread. The beautiful shine and quality of this thread is quite amazing. Also, I'm including the Baby Lock Ultimate Stabilizer Bundle. This has the most popular rolls of stabilizer, from wash away to cut away in different colors, and this will enhance your embroidery to give you a better quality. I'm also including the Baby Lock Altair Inspirational Guide. Now, the instructions on this machine is wonderful, but what's different about the Inspirational Guide, it is written by Baby Lock educators, assuming you know nothing about the machine. So it takes you through every aspect, giving you full color. It's over 300 pages of full color description, step-by-step description. And if you complete this Inspirational Guide, you truly know everything on this machine. We're including that. Plus, we're going to include a online membership to Baby Lock's Love of Knowledge. This has hundreds of videos that give you step-by-step details on how to use the machine and also do techniques. This is invaluable, and you get a membership to this as well. You also get our famous rose gold scissors. These scissors are wonderful, both the shears and the embroidery shears. But last and not least, we put together a very exclusive design bundle by Anita Good Design. It has 17 different collections, and it comes with over 400 design files. And it's truly amazing the variety you get with this. So all this, which equals over a $1,600 value, is free with your Altair purchase for a limited time. Now, we will run out of these supplies, so this is while supplies last. So click on the link to order, or you can call us at 1-800-865-9664. You can email me at moreso@aol.com. But don't wait, this deal will surely end. But if you have any questions, again, call us at 1-800-865-9664. Bye for now.